Hey, welcome to ASIS Faces Business Cases. I've got Scott with me today. Hi, Scott.
Hi,
Thank
Letitia.
you. I'm going to stick to the same routine, which is my usual 3 questions, and we'll kick off with what first attracted you to ASIS.
Sure, thanks, Letitia. Well, for me, I think it was very much amongst a frantic period of trying to understand what I could do post leaving the military. I was literally probably, like most service leavers, whether that's military, police, government, completely unaware of what the security industry was, what roles there were within the industry. And I think the reality was, for me at that time, I thought that the only opportunity would be high-risk environment, and that was the security industry, so close protection. But that's because I just did not know. And at that time, I personally really wasn't looking to be on the front line, having done 19 years in the military. That was the last thing I really wanted to do. Now, I can't remember if any specific person told me about ASIS, but there was definitely a small network of people who I was liaising with, and somehow that led me to ASIS. In fact, it may well have been that I heard about the qualifications of PSP and CPP, which then subsequently led me to ASIS UK chapter. And actually on that, a shout out to Mike Hurst, who was super helpful at that time in pointing me in the right direction for course providers. But the attraction to ASIS out with those qualifications was, I think, really simply to learn, meet people, importantly, to recondition myself from a language and a conversational perspective post that time in the military, because all that military talk, I really had to try and relearn the way I communicated and broaden my knowledge on the security industry and network, of course. And I guess, look, you know, networking isn't for everyone, but it's important, and ASIS meetings definitely provide that opportunity. And I've also kind of worked on a personal theory that, you know, if you get to a stage where you're really comfortable networking with certain people, you probably have that network really well established. And so it's more about, you know, understanding where you still slightly feel uncomfortable with people and looking to grow that relationship. And then you can focus on them to bring them up to a more comfortable area, and therefore, again, increase that successful networking opportunity, which ASIS definitely allows you that area. But on that, I guess on that subject, and one for the event organizers, actually, Letitia, was, and it's something I was talking about yesterday with a couple of people when we were out, and it's when you guys have, or anyone has, these breakout moments for coffees and teas at events and conferences. Do you know, it would be great if we could have a mixture of sizes of teacup and mug sizes. I'm constantly panicking that, you know, I'm going to drop this teeny wee cup that comes with a teeny wee saucer, and, you know, I'm using 2 hands to hold it. I'm already anxious about networking, and I'm worried about spilling my tea or coffee. But, you know, if anyone can provide a sort of wider range size of mugs, I think that would be really helpful to the networking process. But again, you know, ASIS really does provide you that opportunity to network, and, you know, if we can increase the mug availability, I think we'd take it to a whole new level, Letitia.
I think that is perfect feedback, actually, and I've never heard that before, but I can so relate to the nerves sometimes as well. Even I get nervous meeting people for the first time and shaking with your coffee cup. So absolutely, I'll take that away and we'll see what we can do. What I love, one of my favorite questions is this one. What are your aspirations, though, for ASIS, and how are you contributing to the improvement of security or yourself?
With supporting ASIS, I would probably be honest in saying that currently I'm available to support any areas on a case-by-case basis. I know in my my previous job, I definitely had way more time to be much more proactive, to you know, go to every meeting, support stands at various conferences, and I even started work on the police and military transition program that the late Dave Clark kindly asked me to do, which that led to, you know, organising some workshops that we ran for quarterly seminars or wider conferences at the Olympia, for example. As far as improvements, to the industry, there is only realistically certain areas that you can have control of, and so I focus on where I can own and make small, meaningful changes. So, for example, and one of the most important areas is ensuring proportionate pay for security at all levels. As an organisation where I am now working with, I guess, multiple vendors across EMEA, we can own that, I can own that. And with that proportionate pay comes the expected service delivery, of course. And ultimately, you likely get what you pay for. And those who probably know me quite well will have heard me moan about a bad experience with one client on this very subject in my previous job, where their expectations of security output were completely ridiculous. And in my opinion, completely uneducated, to the pitiful hourly rate they were paying officers and supervisors. It was absolutely shocking. So and I guess some other areas that we can also own is what additional training we wish to fund for our officers through our vendors, for example, which is value add for the individual, their skills, their morale, the team, and the business they're supporting. Again, we can own that, that making it a small, meaningful improvement. And it's always important, I guess, to work close partnership on any given task with your security vendors, knowing that ultimately we're all representing the organization and the brand delivering. And as such, we're all working to provide, you know, a proportionate and robust security solution to enable whatever the business is to achieve their objectives in that safe and secure environment, and of course aligned to whatever the business acceptable risk is. And so a few other key areas that ultimately help with that is ensuring you have clear and deliberate statements of work as part of a wider master services agreement with the preferred partners that you want to use, as well as having your standard key security deliverables, a focus on areas such as the standards you're looking for, the qualifications, and of course expressively clear working time directive to ensure there is controls in place and checks in place, reassuring us that all our staff working on, you know, events, tasks, you know, whatever it may be, are not jumping from one shift with one company to another shift with another company, and you have no idea, have they had any rest in the last week? Have they had any time off? And so it's clear to get that written down and shared with your vendors and doing your own checks in it, so you're reassured, because we all ultimately have a duty of care to make sure that's in place. So all of the above, and I guess several more in that similar area, are areas that we can control, I can control with my team, with our vendors, and I can do the checks in it. And hopefully by doing that, you create a little bit of wider noise, especially within our own sort of industry area that we operate. And hopefully that noise spreads and other people will then look to foster something similar to create a more, I guess, a consistent approach in that specific area. Again, it's just a small area, but definitely areas I feel having a control of can really see it coming to fruition.
Yeah, and one of the taglines I think that I feel really portrays that is the stronger together. So hashtag stronger together is absolutely the way forward. And just finally, in the interests of time, if you can just wrap it up, what's the one area that you would like ASIS UK to focus on and more of in our programs?
And actually, it's a nice segue from your point, stronger together. So I'm a great believer in always evolving my mind and my way of thinking as a person. And I think it's fair to say there's been a lot going on over the last couple of years that have definitely given me wider context and education on certain areas where, whilst I understood some of the benefits of areas such as diverse teams and have been part of many, I absolutely wasn't fully aware of what opportunities we were potentially missing to help increase diverse teams, which can only really happen if you create larger talent pools. And we, of course, spoke at length with ASIS towards the end of last year on some areas to do with diversity and inclusion that the security team I'm part of currently are involved with. And so I would really like to continually feel the ASIS momentum in that area, specifically tangible output versus talk, because I think that's really important. We can all get, you know, academics on a call to talk about it or people to share their opinion, but it's the doing that really counts. I mean, we all know we have existing great pipelines of talent coming from the military and police and government. That should continue, you know, but we really should have a drive and an additional focus towards young people, try to inspire them to look at opportunities in security with an aim that we can bring a different mind and skill set into our security teams from all backgrounds, which will undoubtedly, you know, just add value to our teams and the organization we're employed to support. And I guess lastly, I think I'd really like to start hearing about more in-person ASIS meetings going forward, Letitia.
Well, that's certainly going to be happening. Our big aim is to get something for our winter seminar and our AGM and go out 2021 with a good bang. So that will be hopefully something that we will be able to get organised. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you and everybody else at these face-to-face. It will be probably central London. However, what a good way to celebrate the end of a year together. So thanks, Scott, for your time today. Can't wait to see you in person for a drink, and thanks so much for your time again.
Thanks, Letitia. Thanks, ASIS.